Okay, for the second part, we're going to talk about the second level, moving up our graph to the trial courts of general jurisdiction. So, courts of general jurisdiction have authority over major civil and criminal cases, including felonies. They can hear misdemeanors. They might hear, in some states, criminal appeals from lower courts. You can notice in our graphic, we don't that function doesn't exist in our general courts. So and just like the limited jurisdiction courts, they come in a variety of names. Ours are called district courts. Some places will call them like superior courts or circuit court, something along those lines. And these are referred to as courts of record. What that means is essentially that a verbatim transcript of the court's proceedings is kept. These have a court reporter, whereas the courts of limited jurisdiction, there is no transcript kept. If you want to know specifically what a witness said, you would just have to remember that they're not taking a record of what happens in the court the way they do in a court of general jurisdiction. While criminal jury trials are relatively uncommon, in general, a vast majority of cases result in some form of plea bargaining or guilty plea. Only 5 to 10% of cases are going to end in a trial. Over the years, courts have become more efficient in processing cases, attributed to improved management and reduced delays. Caseloads are going to vary significantly by location. Urban courts will handle more cases. Judge qualifications come into play here. Down in the lower courts of limited jurisdiction, generally you just have to be elected. In Texas, you don't have to have any type of qualification, and that's not true at the major trial court level. So our district courts, courts of general jurisdiction, do have qualifications for the judges. Typically, it's going to be something like a law degree is mandatory, plus X amount of years, probably 10 plus years of practice in the legal profession. So you could be a district attorney, a prosecuting attorney, ADA, or a defense attorney, or you could do family law, just any kind of legal practice. There's not a lot of specification to that. Just looking at median salary, so the salary, because that you're more qualified and you have more experience, the salary from limited court jurisdiction judges to the general court jurisdiction judges is going to go up. Median salary for judges in general court jurisdiction courts in 2012 ranged from a low in South Dakota from $110,000 up to a high in Illinois of $180,000. Now, I'll make note of one thing specifically in the Texas court structure. We're going to talk about the Court of Appeals in the next video, but just note how all cases that go from the district court go straight up to the Court of Appeals, except for death sentence cases. They bypass this and go up. Typically, what we'll look at in the criminal process, there is a step in the process that you've probably heard of before. It's called the arraignment. The arraignment is typically the first step a felony defendant will have in front of a major trial judge. So all the previous processing has been happening in these lower courts. And now as we get closer to that enter of a plea, an official plea to the formal charges, we're going to start seeing our formal our major trial judge, and that's the district court or a court of general jurisdiction.